The film opens with Jimmy, who passes a USB drive to his wife, intending to keep her and their child safe from the turmoil caused by the menacing Mafia gang. Concerned for their well-being, Jimmy advises his wife to take their daughter to her grandfather's home, while he plans to lay low at their former residence until the situation calms down. The narrative shifts to Donnie, the formidable boss of the Mafia gang, furious about the theft of his USB drive by Jimmy. Determined to retrieve it, Donnie orders his men to locate Jimmy and recover the device. Meanwhile, as Jimmy approaches his old house, he finds himself ambushed and arrested by Donnie's men. The next morning, Jimmy's wife decides to stay back, but as she attempts to leave with their daughter, she encounters some of Donnie's men, halting their departure. Simultaneously, Sarah, Jimmy's daughter, arrives at her grandfather's house, only to find him asleep. Despite being her grandfather, Matt fails to recognize Sarah initially. However, upon showing him a family photo, Matt realizes her identity and warmly welcomes her. As Sarah settles in, Matt offers her refreshments, prompting her curiosity about why he had never visited her family. Matt explains the strained relationship with Sarah's mother, stemming from the passing of her grandmother 15 years ago, which created a rift between them. Sarah then revealed to Matt that her parents couldn't accompany her due to some undisclosed problems. Her mother abruptly instructed her to go alone, and at the airport, they noticed they were being followed, leading her mother to delay her arrival for the next day. Meanwhile, Donnie intensifies the pressure on Sarah's mom, persistently demanding information about the whereabouts of his USB drive. Under duress, Sarah's mom discloses that their daughter possesses it and is staying with her grandfather. Upon learning this, Donnie selects two of his most trusted men to retrieve the USB drive and take Sarah's mom along. He sternly warns Sarah that any dishonesty or defiance would result in Jimmy's jeopardy. Shortly after, Sarah's mom and Donnie's henchmen arrive at Matt's house. While attempting to search the house, they find it empty, unaware that Sarah and her grandpa Matt are dining out. During their meal, Sarah takes the opportunity to inquire about her mother's disdain for Matt. He divulges that his infrequent visits in the past led Sarah's mom to perceive him as an irresponsible father, oblivious to the fact that he was covertly working for the government. After their lengthy conversation, Matt and Sarah headed home. Much to their surprise, they found Sarah's mother accompanied by two unfamiliar individuals. Matt advised Sarah to stay in the car while he politely approached them, assuming they might be tourists. However, the situation took a drastic turn when one of Donnie's associates abruptly brandished a gun, demanding the whereabouts of a USB drive. In the ensuing struggle, Matt had to fend off the attacker, resulting in the death of one of Donnie's close aides, while the other fled in Matt's car, unaware that Sarah was hiding inside. Following the chaos, Matt attempted to console his daughter and Sarah's mother, Ashley, and sought to understand the full story behind the unfolding events. Ashley then revealed that her husband used to work for Donnie, a ruthless underworld figure. He desired to break free from Donnie's grasp, but the crime boss had threatened their family. Eventually, Jimmy, Ashley's husband, managed to acquire a USB drive containing Donnie's illicit activities. Meanwhile, Bobo, one of Donnie's associates, was inquiring with Sarah about the missing USB drive's location. Sarah speculated that it might be the same one her mother had secured in her school bag. Bobo tried contacting Donnie to inform him of the failed mission and the death of his colleague at the hands of Matt. Upon learning of the situation, Donnie became infuriated and decided to dispatch more of his men to aid Bobo. The scene shifted to a hotel where Matt and Ashley took refuge, contemplating their next moves while ensuring their safety. Matt stepped out onto the balcony and contacted his CIA contact, briefing the agency head about Donnie's threat to his family. He sought more intel on Donnie's background and the extent of his danger. The CIA chief assured him of providing further information later. Upon returning to the hotel room, they were surprised to find Bobo present, who attempted to reassure Sarah and advised her not to act suspiciously. Soon after, 3 of Donnie's men arrived at the hotel to meet Bobo. Accidentally bumping into Ashley as she headed out, she swiftly returned and alerted everyone about the lurking threat outside. Thinking on his feet, Matt instructed Ashley to quickly open and close the door just in time before confronting one of Donnie's men. Matt then directed Ashley to descend using a rope, while Donnie's other men forcefully breached the room's door. As Ashley descended, they realized the breach, compelling Matt to defend against the intruders while still holding onto the rope. Eventually, Matt and Ashley made a swift escape from the hotel. Meanwhile, Bobo, en route to get drinks, was shocked to discover the demise of his associates. Rushing to the hotel balcony, he spotted Matt and Ashley preparing to leave. Bobo immediately contacted Donnie, informing him of the men's demise. Learning this, Donnie's irritation escalated, leading him to devise a plan to personally intervene with his remaining subordinates. The scene transitioned to Matt and Ashley visiting one of Matt's former comrades, an ex-Special Forces expert skilled in handling explosives. Matt sought his friend's assistance in accessing the contents of the USB drive. Upon examination, they uncovered substantial evidence exposing Donnie's criminal activities. Following this discovery, Matt tried once more to contact the CIA chief for further insight into Donnie's level of danger. The CIA head revealed that Donnie's gang operated as a sophisticated criminal syndicate involved in illicit activities such as contraband trading, human trafficking, and illegal arms dealing. However, the complexity deepened as Donnie had a highly menacing superior named Hector Garcia. Hector was embroiled in a heated altercation with an employee and ordered them to head to the beach. Unfortunately, a small mistake by the employee triggered Hector's wrath, leading to threats against the employee's spouse. Not long after this incident, Donnie and his cohorts arrived at the island to retrieve their USB drive. Before launching their attack, Donnie received a tip about Matt and Ashley's location. He encountered Bobo and instructed him to eliminate Sarah, disregarding any doubts Bobo might have had. Donnie, accompanied by his men, then approached the ship where Matt and the others were stationed. Aware that they weren't dealing with ordinary individuals, but rather highly skilled Special Forces experts in infiltration, Donnie emphasized the need for vigilance. The crucial information guiding Donnie's actions came from Hector, who had collaborated with the CIA's deputy director. Meanwhile, on board the ship, Matt and the group understood the imminent threat outside. To ensure safety, they secured Ashley in a room, instructing her to remain there until the situation became safer. Shortly after, Donnie's men attempted to throw grenades onto the ship, but one of the grenades inadvertently caused a leak on the side. This triggered panic in Ashley, who called out for help, receiving no immediate response. Behind the scenes, Matt and his friends stealthily started eliminating Donnie's men, one by one, to counter the imminent danger. Meanwhile, Bobo was escorting Sarah to a location where she was intended to meet a dire fate. Just as the situation was about to escalate, Sarah bravely resisted and successfully managed to escape. Returning to Matt and his friend, they found themselves in a dire situation, facing off against Donnie's men in a fierce shootout. Unfortunately, amidst this chaos, Matt's friend got injured. When Sarah heard her mother's distressing scream, she hastened to open the ship's door. Simultaneously, Bobo, closing in on Sarah, aimed to harm her. However, at the crucial moment when Sarah managed to open the door, Ashley acted decisively, firing her weapon and ultimately bringing down Bobo. They all departed the ship together, including the surprisingly surviving Matt. Yet their respite was short-lived as Donnie unexpectedly emerged, shooting Matt and coercing Ashley and Sarah to accompany him. Meanwhile, Matt found himself entangled in a battle against Donnie's men. Later on, Matt urgently rushed to the hospital to aid his injured friend while contacting the CIA chief. He informed the chief about Donnie taking his family, but remained unaware of their location. The CIA chief speculated that Donnie might have taken them to Hector's residence. Unbeknownst to them, their conversation was being monitored by the deputy head of the CIA, who was involved in a conspiracy with Hector's group. He finally reached the hospital and swiftly called for help for his injured friend. Later that evening, the scene shifted to Hector's house where Ashley and her daughter were present. Soon after, Hector herself entered the room. Hector proposed a deal to Matt. She'd let Ashley and Sarah go if Matt gave her the USB drive he had. But if he refused, Hector threatened to harm Ashley and Sarah. Outside Hector's house, her men were on high alert, expecting Matt to attack. As anticipated, not far from Hector's place, Matt was preparing with his weapons. Shortly after, a car crashed through Hector's gate, and Matt took down the guards. Meanwhile, two of Hector's men on the balcony kept watch on Matt. Just as Ashley and Sarah came out and called for Matt, one of Hector's men tried to grab him. Fortunately, Matt wore a bulletproof vest and defeated the man. He quickly moved toward the trees to evade Hector's other men arriving. Meanwhile, Ashley and Sarah, trying to escape from the room, encountered Donnie. He forced them to go with him to confront Hector. Back to Matt, systematically defeating Hector's men outside. However, he eventually found himself trapped by Donnie, who demanded the USB drive containing evidence of their group's crimes. After Matt handed over the USB drive, he was told to give it to his daughter and granddaughter. When Hector asked Donnie for the drive, Donnie unexpectedly shot him. Donnie was tired of Hector's recklessness, especially because the drive held valuable bank passwords worth millions. Just as Donnie was about to eliminate Matt and his family, he was killed. The person responsible for Donnie's demise was the CIA head who arrived with his deputy. The CIA chairman asked Matt for the original USB drive, knowing Matt wouldn't comply easily. When he finally got the drive, he unexpectedly shot his deputy. It turned out the CIA chairman knew about his deputy's plot with Hector's group. Simultaneously, an official, the CIA chairman's older brother, approached Matt and thanked him for dismantling Hector's group and securing the USB drive. He revealed his plan to run for mayor, armed with evidence of the previous mayor's wrongdoings on the drive. Exposing this would ensure his victory in the election. The official promised to ensure a good life for Matt and his family as a token of gratitude.